Hello and welcome to Now You're Playing with Podcast Episode 9. In this episode, Tatton, Becky, I, and Steve, the four of us interview world-class Tetris player Ben Mullen, who is featured in the upcoming movie Ecstasy of Order, which is a documentary on the classic Nintendo Tetris World Championships from 2010.
Not just any documentary, a fantastic documentary.
Absolutely fantastic. It's going on sale next month in stores. I highly recommend you pick up a copy. And stay tuned after the episode. We're going to have a contest, and we're going to give away a copy. So get the details after the show.
Woohoo!
Any other words before we start?
No, good times. Just a good interview. Lots of fun.
Tetris!
Long bar drought.
Now you're playing with podcast.
Welcome to Now You're Playing with Podcast. This episode, we got a very special guest all the way from Minnesota, right?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, Facebook stalking. Mr. Ben Mullen, he a world-class Tetris player and cast person, I guess, on the new documentary Ecstasy of Order, chronicling the first Tetris World Championships held a couple years ago. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Yep, it's great. Thanks for having me.
So, how many podcasts have you done now? Is this you getting this old hat yet, or
this is the second podcast I've done?
Ooh, second. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're cheating on her.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What the fuck? Turn your phone off.
Aim that
video game related.
Yeah, I guess. So the big news this month is that the DVD is finally coming out, and I've been following this project since Classic Gaming Expo in 2010 in Las Vegas. I saw the director out there, and he was hyping it up, and this was before the event had taken place.
Yeah.
And then we saw him again in Portland last September. And then we saw you at the movie, The Final Project in Milwaukee. Tatton and I saw the movie back in the spring. And I've just been wanting to show everybody I know this movie, and it's just been, when's it coming out? And it's finally going to come out, I guess, this month through their website, and next month through regular channels like Best Buy and whatnot. You aren't the focus of the movie, and you were really cool with us in Milwaukee. So that's why I wanted to interview you before I got with Robin and the other guys. Maybe we'll get them later on. But how did you get involved in all this? Did you was there like Tetris boards or something at the time? Or you were world class and were probably better than everybody that you knew. But this was a pretty monumental event. And how'd you get involved with it?
Well, they sort of reached out to anybody they could find who had any kind of proof at all that was good. So they used Twin Galaxies primarily. Mm-hmm. And they took anyone on there with a current record, and those are the people they invited to play. That's basically the sum total of what happened. I think they might looked on YouTube or wherever else as well.
Oh, we losing you?
But it was mainly Twin Galaxies.
Yeah, okay.
Are we losing me? Oh.
Let me close my thing up. There we go.
Okay.
It's Skype. It's great technology.
Yeah.
So I did a little more Facebook stalking, and you were born in 1982. So that's kind of you're kind of young for an NES kid. What was your history with the NES and Tetris in particular?
We got it when kind of close to when it came out. I think it came out in 1989 or something like that, and we got it then, and I started playing it then. I guess I would have been 8 years old, or something like that. So I was just old enough to get into Tetris. But it didn't really become my main focus until junior, senior year of high school.
Really? So
yeah,
that's when was this?
That's when I really learned that I wasn't very good with women. I had to focus more so on Tetris than anything else.
So NES Tetris, or had you moved on to the SNES?
No. I didn't even know the SNES had a version until about a year and a half ago. But it's a fun version. I held the world record in it for just a little bit of time.
That's awesome.
You get a certificate, right? You get Walter Day's little thumbs up thing.
Well, I never had the official Twin Galaxies one, I should say. Just, the unofficially I had it.
Just as good.
Someone has it for real.
Do you have a gamer's card with that new trading card series that they got? Do you have your own yet?
I need to get one. I keep meaning to get one.
Aw.
As soon as I max out, I feel like I need to do that.
Now, let's if we got listeners that don't know, what's maxing out?
Maxing out is getting all of the points in the game possible. You can get up to 1,000,000 -1 because the score counter is going to stop.
Right.
Like It's really hard to do. I've come really, really close many, many times. It's actually getting kind of annoying. I've had, let me see here, 11 one-aways, which is one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's getting kind of frustrating. But
Man.
that's okay.
What's the time investment for you to be able to get to that?
Per game, or I mean,
Yeah, per game. Like if you're going for that score and you get one away, how long did you play to get to that point?
I mean, really, any game is about 12 minutes, maybe. So it's just a high level of perfection in a short amount of time.
Isn't 12 minutes though for with that high of concentration? That's pretty difficult to pull off, right? And I mean, it gets even worse as you get to level 30.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So are you starting at level 1?
No, I started on level 18.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess at 19 the speed super kicks up, and then it gets even worse from there at 100 lines.
Yeah, you have 100 lines of level 19 speed, and you need to be able to do well there in order to max out.
I mean, the great thing about this movie is, if you've seen King of Kong, they were really good at capturing the drama and even, adding a few extra details that maybe weren't quite true to get a good story out of it. But they didn't do a good job of really showing how freaking hard Donkey Kong arcade game is. I mean, people look at Donkey Kong, if they haven't played it before, it looks kind of easy.
Yeah.
But Tetris, the Ecstasy of Order does a fantastic job of showing how freaking impossible that game is. I mean, especially when they're saying that most people can't follow the action just watching it, and then the players are actually playing the freaking game.
Right.
Were you always this good, or when did you said you got this great in high school? I mean, like when I was playing Tetris, that was like my mom's game. She would constantly play Tetris all the time. I'd play it sometimes. I'd be okay at it, but I didn't get to the obsession level with it. I mean, what this was just you messing around with the system and realizing you were reaching these incredibly high scores, or I don't know if there's a question in there, but talk about the transformation from just playing Tetris as a regular Nintendo game to a master.
Yeah, I guess it happened over the course of about 2 years in high school. I was just normal in ability, but I really focused more so on lines. So I would try to get to the kill screen, level 29, as often as possible. I wasn't really focusing on score in those days for reasons that I don't even remember. But I did get very good at controlling the pieces on level 19, which is a really, really hard skill.
Yeah, I mean, what's the level where you're actually it's the same speed as pushing down? Is that 19?
That's level 19. Yeah.
Right, because I mean, when I first discovered that trick in Nintendo Power, where if you hold in the A button, you jump ahead 10 levels.
Yeah,
it's like, ooh, let's try 19, and I was like, holy shit! And then I lose in after 5 seconds, like Mike Tyson or something, and then I go back to playing with 9, which is pretty good, but compared to you guys, it's nothing.
Level 9 is good. Sometimes I start on it just for fun.
Oh yeah.
You can tell.
I tried to play a few games today. I got to 350,000. I'm thinking, yeah, that's terrible to this guys, but at least I'm not like a complete doofus with Tetris. So
definitely not. That's pretty good.
Were you aware of the Nintendo World Championships at all at the time?
I was completely unaware of them, which is kind of tragic.
Yeah, I mean, because that's kind of the focus of the movie is Thor Ackerland was the winner of the Tetris World Championships. And I guess where'd they have the finals? Was it Florida or was it California? One of the Universal Studios.
California.
And then Robin, like kind of his rival, who ended up third place, I guess, and he kind of drove him to win another competition the next year. But the movie kind of focuses on those two guys the most, and then focuses on everybody else a bit, like bringing everybody together. But that's kind of wanted to get you on here because you, like I said, you seem pretty young for among that group. I mean, you were the youngest one, other than that kid playing the Tetris arcade game, right? In the finals.
Oh God. I'm younger than I look because I'm just so darn good looking, but I don't know. I guess I might. No, I think we were all about the same age.
Oh, really? Okay.
All either like 30 to 35, I think.
So is NES, is that the version that's played in the tournament still?
Oh, yeah, and that's the version we're all obsessed with.
Okay.
So have you played it on any of the other systems? Have you ever played the one on the CDI?
Oh, the only other system I've really gotten into is SNES.
Okay.
And I've done Tengen before, or Tengen, or however you pronounce it. And I think I hold the world record in that unofficially.
Awesome.
But that's kind of a silly world record because you can play it for hours.
Yeah, that's like a marathon game, right? You know, like those guys that
Play until your thumbs stop.
Play until they, collapse them.
So my score rate wasn't that high in that, but I do a few new things like Cultris and Tetris Friends.
Have you done the Tetris DS?
No, but that's what everybody asks me. I probably
if you get the chance, it's a fantastic translation. And if you're a fan of classic Nintendo games, they do really fresh looks and it's still Tetris.
I think a lot of people, they kind of mentioned that like one of the Q&As, they kind of frowned up, like the old school guys didn't like the new school Tetris games because you could infinite spin a piece to keep it like before, so that you could keep it before it hits the ground and you can move it to wherever you want, no matter what the speed. Do you still play other games at all, or are you just kind of like Tetris and that's it for me?
Oh, I do Mario 1 and Mario 3 and Dr. Mario.
Yeah.
To some extent. Oh, and Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
Those are
do you mean competitively you play those games?
Yeah, I'd probably be pretty good at them competitively. Not like world class, but I mean, I'm good at them, I guess.
What other involvements other than having you host the movie in Milwaukee? Are you involved in any of the production of it? Or are you kind of like a B team guy, or were you just close to Milwaukee and nobody wanted to go to the Midwest?
Oh, just close to Milwaukee. Yeah, none of the big players go to that competition. Although, I think that competition is kind of interesting because it's grown a little bit. We have a few, I think, really great players who go there every year now. The guy who now holds the SNES world record, who isn't me, sadly.
Oh.
And another guy. There's 4 really good players who go, I think, every year.
Yeah, that event seems to have outgrown its location. I don't think we're going to go back because we're all the way in Ohio. That was like an 8-hour drive for us. We'll probably go back when they get like a bigger space. But the competition that they had there was like, what was it, level 6, height 5 or something like that?
Yeah, they did some ridiculous things. That the year that's in the movie, they did just terrible things. And then, we had some Facebook discussions. Right. We had a really good normal competition last year.
Frankly, I think my favorite version is the original Game Boy version, but I can see how that doesn't lend well to competition. I don't see anybody breaking out the brick green and white Game Boys to throw on a big screen. But did you play that version, or do you have an affinity for it? Or
no, I don't really like that version very much.
Really?
Yeah. Once it gets fast, you have to tap constantly.
Right.
And it just tired out my thumbs. It's all right.
Yeah, when you get to those higher levels, you have to, like, most lazy players like myself, they'll hold in left or right to move to the left or the right of the screen, and you have enough time before the piece gets to the bottom to get to where you want to go. But in the upper levels, you have to double, triple tap or whatever to get the piece to move all the way to the side before it hits the bottom. And the reason why Thor is so incredible is because he has some sort of turbo thumb or something like that. I mean, how did you develop that technique? I mean, because to get to that upper level, you have to have some sort of technique, right?
Yeah, I mean, the technique I use is pure dash charge, so I just hold the button down.
Really?
Yeah.
So even at like 19 and above, it'll work?
Yep. In NES Tetris, you don't need the hyper tap, but it'll help. Mm-hmm. If you get too high up on the screen. That's why Thor's really far and away the best player in the world. Is he can do that. Nobody else can. Well, a few people can, but just barely.
Right. I mean, I don't want to spoil the movie for people, so I already did somewhat. But if you're playing a regular game and you're building up your tower, at what point do you bail out and start lopping off pieces of the tower, even though that might sacrifice your score?
Oh, at what point do I kind of start burning lines? Oh, right. I basically use the bottom of the next box, which I guess is about 8 high.
Okay, so like 2 Tetrises, and then after that, start lopping.
Yep, and I do that on 19. I let it go higher on 18, and I go almost to the top on level 9.
Look at Steven.
I'm shaking my head.
And by the way, Steven over here, he's a world-class crossword puzzle solver. What do they call crossword solvers?
Just Crossword solvers.
solvers. So this is podcast history, ladies and gentlemen. We've got two world-class nerds in two very different genres here, sort of matching.
But they both involve
really.
like little squares.
Yeah. And Russian music?
Not so much.
No? Okay.
So I have a question for you. One of the things I thought was probably the most interesting about the movie was the kid who was talking about trying to find different ways to play the arcade Tetris. How like some of the people in Japan were like drawing the greater than symbol with empty blocks. Have you ever like looked at the way you play Tetris and try to like find more ways to make it more challenging than it already is?
Definitely. I really enjoy kind of side games within the game. Like making Tetris art like that. I'm terrible at it. But I try to do it sometimes. I'm amazed at what some people can do.
That's just blowing my mind right now.
What's the coolest thing that you think you've done with it?
Oh, God. I don't even know. I haven't done anything Tetris art-wise that's worth speaking.
Like as far as your side games go that you create inside of it.
Oh, like some of them are just silly. Like the most points, no lines allowed. So this is something where you go to level 0 and you have to just use drop points until you're dead. And you don't get to get a line or you're disqualified.
Wow.
And I've gotten, I think, 350, which is really good. You should try it.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's hurting my brain right now.
You can think up so many fun side games with Tetris. That's why it's the coolest game ever.
Do you play the Nintendo World Championship cart?
No, I don't even own one, but I need
Really?
to get one.
Oh,
I actually have a plan to get it and get extremely good at it.
I mean, if you played Mario 1 and you could just put up with Rad Racer, it's totally... I mean, I can get like... At Portland last year, I got 3rd place in the competition, so I can just, again, say I'm not a complete slouch at these games. I mean, I'm not Thor, obviously, but... I don't know. What's the world record now for that thing? Like 7 million or something ridiculous. I
think there's 2 different ways to play it. Those 7 millions would be impossible for a single. I think 4.5 is the record.
Okay, with the 6-minute limit, and then like there's like a change of dip switches. Okay.
And what's interesting about that game is that you, based on what you do in Mario, that defines your set of Tetris pieces.
Yeah.
So you get to know beforehand.
Which is weird, because, I mean...
This is my long-term plan. I'm going to figure out a perfect kind of solution.
Because Tetris is actually, like, pure random, right? Like, newer versions will actually give you a straight line after so many pieces, right?
Right. Yeah.
And, I mean, that's one of the things in the film. They show people going through droughts of straight lines, so you get, like, 20 or 30 pieces in a row without a straight piece, and it kills most players, but the really good ones can get around it. But that's so weird that Nintendo Tetris like that they actually changed the pieces for the competition. That's odd. And I knew there was something with Rad Racer, depending on what level you finished in Super Mario Brothers, like the car traffic would be different. Oh. But the money round, the Tetris round, that they'd actually mess with that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And it sucks that Nintendo doesn't even acknowledge that the World Championships even took place. So it's all done through the internet and communities and stuff. But Nintendo proper, they pretend it never even happened.
Yeah, if there's one thing we can't do, it's rely on big companies to, form communities for us.
Right.
We have to do that ourselves.
Well, or even maintain their own history. We had a show we just recorded recently where we were talking about how Nintendo doesn't even know if the original Super Mario Brothers launched with the Nintendo when it first launched.
They don't know?
No, like none of their records. They don't know if they sold it when they sold the original Nintendo or not.
There's no date for the actual launch of the Nintendo, what day it started selling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like there was a test market, but they don't know if Mario Brothers was with it. Have you played Famicom Tetris?
No. Is it different?
It is.
Yeah, you know about the whole legal story with bringing the game over, and a bunch of different companies thought they had rights and didn't. In Japan, Bulletproof Software did the Famicom version, and I think it came out first. But it's a total mindfuck because you have to press up to rotate, and then the buttons drop your piece instantly.
Oh, so you have to press up to rotate. Well, that makes
up to rotate, and you can only rotate one direction.
Oh, naturally. Right?
Yeah, of course. It is, but it plays more like Tengen Tetris in that it doesn't get super fast and it breaks after every 25 lines. So there's none of that intense, endless possibility of an endless game, which in my book makes it's a lot less fun that way. I think I never liked
a lot less.
But that whole control scheme just totally screws with my brain. You have to overthink what you're doing, and then when you want to put pieces, slide them underneath, you can't drop them most of the way and then slide it under. You have to wait for the drop for the piece to naturally fall away to the bottom. Ugh. But yeah, I totally emulate that one time just to see what it's like. I can't believe I'm schooling somebody. Like I know something you guys don't. I'm proud of myself. Wow. Do you like any other puzzle games? I mean that type of mind I would imagine would be good at Dr. Mario, Puyo Puyo, Intelligent Cube, maybe.
Definitely Dr. Mario.
Yeah,
I do a lot of Dr. Mario, and I'm trying to get back into chess, so that's not a video game.
But I guess you'd have to play with clock chess because that seems to be the thinking on your feet aspect would be
right.
You're better suited for.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm very good at any form of chess, but
they had like they made like Hat-tris and Word-tris, so why not Chess-tris?
Yeah, that's true.
There's a Weltris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Weltris.
Do you currently game on any systems, or are you all old school?
All old school. The only thing I have hooked up is a Nintendo.
Awesome. I applaud you, sir.
Do you have a top loader?
Tetris.
Do you have a top loader?
No.
So your old Nintendo still works pretty well.
Yep. I have 2 front loaders. Mm-hmm. 2 side-by-side TVs, so I can host small competitive gatherings at my house.
Nice.
Have you tried the dog bone controller? Do you like that?
I don't like that.
Don't? That's interesting. Yeah. Like the boxy style.
Yeah, I like the boxy style. It seems oddly more ergonomic if you hold it right.
Because back in the day, I played with an NES Advantage, and I liked it then. But if I wasn't as good back then either. It was NES Advantage is better suited for Mega Mans and that sort of stuff. Right. Like with the joystick was there's too much throw to it. Like the precision, really small movements of the NES controller seemed to be better suited for a game like Tetris. Mm-hmm. So what's your best on Dr. Mario? Can you play that infinitely on the higher speeds, or does you kind of?
Oh no! I mean, I can beat the highest level.
Yeah,
but I can't beat it too many times in a row. I've probably beaten 20 high 3 times in a row at most.
I've done it once. I don't think I've done it multiple times. I tend to I like my relaxing Dr. Mario's to play 20 slow and just like keep going.
Yeah.
Until I get bored. So get to like 25 and I think it stops the counter at that point. What I don't like about that's like the scoring system. It doesn't because they put that on like the campus challenge the next year, and instead of Tetris being the big score, Dr. Mario was the big score, but you didn't get a lot of score for putting together moves as much as you just got for getting rid of viruses at the same time.
I think it's the only way you get a score.
Yeah,
the only way.
If you get a double without virus, it doesn't count.
Right, and I mean that would seem to be the skill to me, just to put together the multiple pieces. Like, have you ever played? Well, they called it Puyo Puyo in Japan, but then they called it like Kirby's Avalanche over in America. Ever played that one?
Never.
No. That's kind of like Dr. Mario, but the pieces fall apart when you land them sideways on a tower.
Oh.
So, and then the you don't need straight lines. You could also have squares and L's and that sort of thing. So like the chains get really insane.
Right.
It's kind of a big deal over in Japan. It never really caught on over here, unfortunately.
I got a friend who's really good at Dr. Mario, and he can make bombs that are 150,000 point bombs.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, it'll screw.
Is that on YouTube? Can I see that? Is that?
No, he hasn't put anything on YouTube because he sucks. But I'm going to force him to do that soon.
Do you put any of your videos on YouTube?
Oh, all of my videos are on YouTube.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
I should have looked those up. My stalking wasn't very good if I didn't see the YouTube videos.
Ben, I almost wish we were doing a video Skype for this because Stephen and my wife Becky haven't seen the movie yet. And their facial expressions every time you talk so casually about something amazing that you're doing are just hilarious.
And we've seen it. I mean, I really want everybody to watch this movie. I mean, for people that are into gaming, the narrative. It does have narrative too, so people that aren't interested would like it. But it really does outdo King of Kong, I think, in terms of showing what it really takes to be a world class gamer. I sound like Mr. Plug guy, but I really, really do love this movie, and I can't wait to get it on DVD.
It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited to get it on DVD also. And I don't just love this movie because I'm in it.
Right.
I would anyway because I'm in it. But, it actually was really well made. And the new DVD is going to have extras in it.
Oh, nice.
Like DVDs often have, which I haven't seen yet. So I'm really looking forward to it.
At Portland last year, they showed the video of Thor winning the Nintendo World Championship, and they had this D-bag with a mullet who was like the announcer of the event, and like every time somebody got Tetris, he'd go Tetris. And it was the cheesiest goddamn thing of all time. I really want to see that again because I don't think that's on YouTube.
If there's one thing I've learned, it's that there's really no way to commentate a Tetris game. There's just no good way to do it.
Yeah, I tried watching the stream of the last year's event, and I watched some of it. Was kind of cool, but it didn't have the same. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's just their first attempt to do it. Maybe they can get better with it, but you kind of just got to let it play.
But they try to commentate though.
Yeah, they do. I mean, and he does a good job of it. I know the guy who does it. And it's good, but it's such a fast game to track. So you just kind of say boom Tetris when someone Tetris.
Do you need like an auction announcer to do it?
Tetris! We just about have to.
So Ben, what are some of the weirdest things you've seen the game do? Like, have you seen 20 lines in a row, like 20 of the same piece in a row, or anything crazy like that?
I've seen this game do some weird stuff. I've gotten some of it on camera actually, and I even put it on YouTube. I had one time where it did, it went into its little demo where it plays, and it did something different. Like it played differently. And it never plays differently. That creeped me out. Like I saw it.
Possession.
Weird.
It was totally possessed. I've had line droughts in the 50s before.
Holy shit! And did you die? Right?
That's video of a 57.
Did that kill you, or did you survive?
Survived.
Wow.
I mean, I was just,
I'm doing the warship thing right now with the
We're not worthy.
Yeah.
By the middle of it, I had given up and I was just burning lines, so it wasn't impressive that I survived.
Do you keep track of your stats on a spreadsheet or on paper?
I sure do. I'm looking at my spreadsheet right now.
All right.
Not that there's anything great on it. I keep my 30 best games of all time. I track those, plus other achievements that I consider important.
How long can you maintain concentration in a session? Because that's one of those games where, like a good classic arcade game, you keep wanting to play again to get a better score, but after so many games, your concentration starts to wane and you find yourself playing worse and worse. How long can you maintain and have a good session? Like an hour or so? Or
yeah, I do 2 hours at the most.
That's pretty good concentration. Yeah.
And even within any single game, the brain likes to wander. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
So, and you can see this in most good Tetris players' YouTube videos. They just do just phenomenally stupid things for about two pieces, and then they get back into being good. And that's just the brain going on a vacation. It just does that sometimes.
Now, you said at the beginning that you were that you've had multiple games where you've been 1 point away from getting a perfect score, right?
Yeah, one Tetris away.
What? Where do you go once you hit that achievement?
Personally,
would it be like getting to level 30?
Yeah, I could try that. I've gotten 297, which is my best now, and I think I'm happy with that. And I think I'm going to be happy with maxing out. So honestly, I'll probably retire.
You gonna drop the mic? You're gonna.
I'll probably I know that some of the great players like Jonas and Thor and Harry, especially, they've continued on and done really amazing things. Like
what's the current record?
Well, the current because it maxes out, so you can only really express the record in terms of how early can you max out. And I've heard 204, and there's a video of a 205 from Matt Bucco. So Bucco's is kind of what I would consider the official record right now. So the max out record, you're basing it on how quickly you get to 999999999.
Wait, yeah, 2 minutes and 4 seconds?
No, 204 lines.
Yeah. Once multiple people max out, the only way to really differentiate is, how early do they do it? And I'm going to be happy just to do it at all.
What's the line record then?
That would be something that Thor has done, I think. but I'm not. That would
okay, yeah.
probably yeah.
So that's okay. That's current.
I'll tell you, my line record is 297, and I think that's the best one outside of him that I know of, at least. But Harry or Jonas could have done better, and I just don't know it.
So what do you think the threshold is for that? Do you think 31 is possible?
Yeah, I mean, with the right technique, you could, in theory, go on forever, but no one could maintain it for very long.
Your thumbs stop.
Yeah, your thumbs would just go crazy.
I have a friend who played the DS version of Tetris, and he said he was playing for like 4 hours straight. Mm-hmm. And he said he played until his thumbs locked up. And I believed him because, I mean, he's just that kind of person.
Yeah, it gets weird. I played a 4-hour game of Tengen, too. And I think 4 hours is probably the max a brain can take. Because I started, I thought a Z piece was an S, or a J was an S. I would make the weirdest mistakes.
So in the trailer, they talk about having Tetris dreams and thinking about Tetris when you're not playing. Do you have that constantly? Because I think we've all experienced that too. Just playing
not exactly. It's not Tetris dreams. It's not related to the game. Because I don't have those anymore. But I do have Tetris related dreams, about the competition, hoping I'll win, fearing I'll lose, stuff like that.
How about when your mind just wanders when you're awake?
Then I usually no.
Okay. I think maybe you've done it so much that you've
desensitized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I desensitize my own brain. In fact, sometimes when I'm playing, I don't even know what I'm doing. I think this is subconscious part of my brain doing it.
Well, that's the thing. I think you got to turn if you're playing the Famicom version where the buttons are completely mixed up, then you have to think again of what you're doing. You're no longer just on autopilot.
It's reflex.
It's when it becomes reflex, then I guess you get out of that seeing you're I hate to use Neo in the Matrix, but that's kind of what it is.
It's kind of funny because I'll watch YouTube videos where Matt Bugo or someone good is playing, and I'll get kind of intimidated by it. I'm like, man, this guy's really good. But then I'll play and I'll be like, it'll calm me down because I don't even know how I'm good, but it comes from me as well.
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but you had the sweetest moves in the movie. Other people might have been better at the faster speeds and whatnot, but you had the crazy shit where you could flip pieces up and around right as they got you. You knew the exact moment to flip a piece to complete a line, to get rid of garbage or whatever. And anybody who doesn't even play Tetris can go, holy shit, when they see that sort of thing. Sorry.
Well, I am.
To give something away. Was that too big of a spoiler?
I don't know. You might actually be thinking of Jonas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I do that stuff too.
God, see, it's been 3 months since I've seen a movie.
And it was the movie was from 2 years ago.
Right.
A lot of us were significantly worse than we are now.
Really?
Wow.
So the way Jonas plays in the movie is somewhat representative of how a lot of people play now, which I think is going to make this year's competition really interesting.
Let's talk about that. There's talk of moving it to Portland this year at the Portland Gaming Expo.
There has been talk. That's true.
Nothing final though.
No, nothing I know of. Well,
I don't know. You haven't been there yet, but it was a fantastic event last year, and now they're moving to a convention center. And unfortunately, I work in elections, so I'm going to be kind of busy this time next in September, so I won't be able to go. But I hope that you're there next year when I get to go back. I really want to see this stuff in person.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Crap!
I hope something good happens for me.
Yeah.
Do you listen to the Tetris music when you play, or do you have other things that you listen to?
It's usually Pandora.
Okay.
I turn the TV up really loud, and I have just the sound effects, so I can hear.
Gotcha.
Right.
And then I listen to Belinda Carlisle, Pandora.
Awesome.
It's your all Rush mixtape.
Oh God, I wish I were joking. I have some embarrassing Pandora state. I'm just rocking out.
I was going to say, what is your favorite music of the three? I guess none.
It would be none, but I do kind of like music complete, just because it's so audacious that they would dare to put it in there. I mean, just sing it to yourself. It sounds so stupid.
But they do the same with Dr. Mario. Got no fever, no chill, just Belinda Carlisle.
Just straight up Belinda Carlisle. Yeah, it's got to be.
Original drummer of the Germs. Fun fact. Okay.
Did you just Google Belinda Carlisle?
No, he did not. He's sitting here.
I'm a punk rock nerd too, so that's kind of one of everybody's got their other nerd hobby that you don't talk about for other people until it slips out.
Wow.
So, what do you do for a living? I mean, or does just like how does this relate to the rest of your life? I mean, does your wife think you're an idiot, or is she really cool with it?
Everybody thinks I'm an idiot. My wife knows more so than anybody else. What I do for a living is I am an advisor at a community college. So I, advise people, tell them what classes to take and whatnot. It does not relate to Tetris at all.
Yeah, it does. They're building up their education and stick the line in there, and then they graduate.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Wait. That last class.
Yeah, that's a great metaphor.
I'm actually wearing my favorite shirt just for this, in case it had been a video one.
Yeah,
it's a shirt a friend of mine made for an Upward Bound program. It's an educational program I used to work for, and it's a Tetris related Upward Bound shirt. Aww. And in the corner it has the official Ben Mullen seal.
Did you design that, or do people know you? Like, are you known to be like the Tetris guy?
Yes.
Or is it like your hidden dark secret that you don't tell anybody?
It was my hidden dark secret until the existence of YouTube.
Oh.
Everybody knows me for it now.
That's fantastic.
Back before you could prove things online, it was kind of like saying you were abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
Who doesn't say they're really good at Tetris?
Now you're on a podcast. I mean, look. I mean, think you're upward, and do you have an IMDb page yet?
I do. Yeah.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
The funny thing is, there's another Ben Mullen who. This is the weird thing. He was in Legend of the Gamers, and his character was Scotty the Ref. Apparently a really similar movie, but it's not me.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
And they merged us. IMBD thinks we're one person.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh.
It's pretty freaking awesome.
So how do you get to Kevin Bacon?
Oh, I think I do it in 4 steps.
Okay.
I don't even really remember.
That's documentary would be probably kind of hard. I'm sure somebody on the production crew can get you across to the Hollywood people, but
yeah. Oh God! Now I really want to figure out.
I'm sure there's a website that just does it.
I figured it out.
They need an NES version of Kevin Bacon, with some Belinda Carlisle 8-bit music. It'd be fantastic as a homebrew. Yeah, that joke didn't go over too well.
That was a joke.
Were you thinking that was real?
No.
Okay.
So I've got a question for you. When you're playing a competition, is it harder for you to play when there's like a bunch of activity and people watching? Is it easier when you're just at home and it's just you and your Nintendo, your Belinda Carlisle Pandora channel?
Yeah, it sucks at competitions. I mean, imagine it. It's so stressful.
Can you wear headphones?
Yeah, you can. I don't.
No. But so like you said, 2 hours. So how much do you train before competition? And you got to warm up, obviously, but you don't want to wear yourself out.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix. I just do like an hour a day for a number of weeks.
How about PEDs? Do you do any steroids or Mountain Dew?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually like heroin or
HGH. the world's best
Tetris game ever.
Is
there a separate category in Twin Galaxies for OD Tetris or? No.
Well, sometimes me and a few of the Tetris players have had online competitions, so we Skype it or something.
Right.
Neat.
Oh, wow.
We do have a special drunken category.
Nice.
And I bet drunk you could still kick my ass.
What's your best drunken score?
My best drunken score is a 942, which is actually a good score.
Yeah, life. Sobriety sucks.
942.
1,000. Like 50,000 short. Yeah.
Yeah, I got lucky, and that one was weird. I actually did it at a bar.
Wow.
Because we have a Nintendo themed bar in town. I had a crowd behind me, like oohing and ahhing.
Are you serious? That's awesome.
A surreal experience, actually. It was a lot of fun.
I'm guessing PBR is the drink of choice at this place.
Most
Okay, just making sure. I already asked.
I keep saying that'd be a good idea in Columbus because I went to Ground Control in Portland, and this sounds similar. It would be a hit with the hipsters here.
What did she call it? Barcade. She called it a barcade.
Yeah, barcade.
Oh, barcade. Yeah. That's kind of what this is.
That would be neato.
A lot of hipsters hang out there.
It happens. That you can't.
Yeah, they got to go somewhere.
Have you ever played the arcade version of Tetris?
I own it.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do have some post Maxout plans other than retiring, I guess.
Wow.
I'm going to dominate several classic versions of Tetris. Don't tell anybody.
Are you going to go for the Grey Master?
Maybe.
Because that's the one where it like the you only see the pieces in the beginning when it flashes, and you play it invisible, right?
Yeah. I think I could do the Grandmaster. At least the first one, because it's apparently a little easier. I've talked to a few people about what it takes.
Easier.
It's easy. Yeah, nothing.
Air quotations, accusational bunnies, easier.
How about the 2-player version? I mean, that's kind of the one complaint about NES Tetris or official Tetris, that it didn't have the 2-player mode, and that's frankly why I like the Game Boy version, was the throwing the garbage lines back and forth among one another.
Oh, right.
And I guess there was some footage of a tournament that Robin was running that he used SNES Tetris, and that had a 2-player mode.
Yeah.
Do you play that with any of the other like elite people and like can play for an hour, just throwing back and forth garbage for 3 hours, or how did those go?
In Milwaukee we used there were 2 competitions, and one of them was head to head with SNES.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of funny. I sucked at it.
Aww.
I can imagine, because I don't remember the Super NES in particular, but the NES or the Game Boy would give you a whole set of lines, but they would put the well anywhere around. So if you build up any sort of tower at all, you kind of want to hold back and wait for your opponent to make a move and then pounce by eliminating the tower. But I guess
that's something I did.
It didn't work. It didn't work for Ben, and I'm fucked.
I just had too many misdrops and blunders. It was a farce.
And I don't like the control in SNES version. The Super NES control is a little stiffer than the NES version. Did you notice that, or am I just talking on my ass?
No, you are. Well, you probably are talking out your ass.
Oh, yeah.
It is absolutely stiffer.
Yes. I'm not an idiot. Thank you. I just need validation.
Not an idiot.
What's been your most exciting Tetris game? Has there been like one that you've done that's really stood out more than the others?
Oh God. Not sort of, but not exactly. I mean, I've had a lot of good games. I like them when they get kind of wild. Like you're fighting to stay alive, and then the Tetris well moves from side to side and to the middle. Those are neat.
I mean, those do seem like more of a challenge, even though your score ends up not being as good. I kind of can see that. Like when I was playing today, and I was getting around a couple 100,000. My highest score was 350 at that point, but my well was on the right side, then it got over to the left side, and then I was getting rid of a lot of garbage and survived that. And I can totally see that. Right.
Yeah, a good bit of survival can be just as impressive as anything, I think.
I guess that's where the B game comes into. But since it's is there a way somebody can hack like the B game and make it like 100 lines instead of 25? You think that'd be fun?
With the Game Genie. Game Genie codes will do.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Sweet. I should try that instead of, oh, wow. To look that up.
Would you prefer playing an opponent or play by yourself?
I would play... I like to play myself against an opponent. Like, you know what I mean? Not throwing garbage, just both playing...
At the same time, 2 people playing the one player game.
Racing one another or trying to get the better score. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That seems like the most fun.
What any other plans? Are you going to go out to Portland for the premiere?
I think I'm going to go. Oh, not for the premiere.
No,
I can only fly so many places in a year before I go broke. For the competition, though.
Tetris money doesn't get very high for that.
No,
not yet.
I'm throwing so much money into Tetris. Hopefully, this movie makes me rich. So please buy it.
It ought to.
I know. It would. I don't think it would make.
If you got some hot sauce or a comic book or something, and you'd totally be ready to go.
Action figure series.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Ben Mullen action figure series. Miss Sauce every 25 pieces,
And then have your 0 points of articulation Tetris pieces that you throw at your.
Those are McDonald's packets.
Do you have any
Happy
kids?
Meal.
I have one really, really fluffy cat,
Oh, okay.
and
Awesome.
She
and
can't.
I homebrew beer.
Because I got a 3-year-old and she just likes to move the pieces left and around and flip them around and not get any lines. But, if that's entertaining to her, good for her.
Yeah, that can be fun.
Yeah.
Does your wife play at all?
She does. I'm trying to remember what her high score. She has like a 150 for a high score. She's in training.
Yeah. What would you consider like good versus elite? What at what points do you start to get like above average? Like what you're in the elite group, and then obviously there's the people even above you. But what at what score ranges do you think constitute like the 90th percentile or the 95th percentile?
95th even would probably be nothing more than about 500. And you start to get good at 600,000 because that's kind of the point where some of those points have to be coming after level 19.
Right.
So
that's level 19 is more the cutoff than the 500,000.
Right. And then 800,000 is kind of considered a big deal.
I'm sweating just thinking about that.
Then 900, then max out. But there's even, you can go beyond max out and say, how many times have you maxed out? How often can you max out?
Right.
Which some of the players are good enough to just max and max and max. It's crazy.
I have faith in you, and I hope you do it soon. And post.
Yeah, I'll do it. I might take my time doing it though. I'm sort of on hiatus right now because I'm so over it. It's hard to hammer at this for months and months, and all for I'm 3,500 points away.
Oh.
So it's really freaking annoying. Like I play for hours just so that I can get those 3,500 points.
Oh God!
What?
Mathematically, how many Tetrises does it take to? If you played a perfect game, so to get to max out, so you said it's like 204. Were those people playing perfect games like every Tetris?
No human could.
You can't do that.
I mean, and even if the human was perfect, the pieces wouldn't. You just have line droughts. But a perfect game, you could max out in level 23, I think.
Like I mean, even if the piece didn't work out, you could max out 23.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, if the pieces didn't work out, then it would be later.
Right. And that's the luck element is probably the.
Right. Yeah, and anyone who maxes out at level 26, they're very skillful, obviously. and they did have some luck in doing that.
Does the game freeze at 9-9 at the top, or does it keep going? Lines. Oh yeah, it does. It keeps going, doesn't it?
It keeps going. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen that video. Somebody like with a emulator kept like trying to break all the numbers in it or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's neat. I like it when people tool assist this game. They do interesting things. Like did you see that thing where you can get a 3-liner, but if you do it way at the top, it's counted as a Tetris?
Oh no! Wow.
Oh, wow.
How tall is the play field?
20.
So, oh wow, that's weird. I wonder why.
So you have to get a Tetris at the exact top, or a 3-liner, and it's counted as a Tetris, which is really neat. I've done it once to test it on level 0.
Yeah, but still, it's like, damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was really hard to do that because you can build it up like that kind of easily, but then it's a 1 in 7 shot. You get the LP.
You get your one piece, and that's that.
Yeah,
but I guess with the tool assisted, you could just
you
can reset it
to times just to confirm that it was even doable. But
that's fascinating.
That's awesome.
So what's the next? Do you have another? Well, you said obviously you're thinking about doing the Tetris Master Arcade next, but
I'm doing the classic arcade next. And
okay,
just the Grandmaster. I think I would emulate on my computer,
right,
to do it. I'm gonna take back SNES.
Mm-hmm.
And then
does the SNES have the same scoring structure like level 29, or is it any different at all?
The SNES? Yeah, their scoring structure is that you get 12,000 points per Tetris no matter what level you're on. Well, as long as it's above level 9.
Oh, so the point progression stops at level 9.
Right. So you don't get many points, to be honest. And that's why its record right now is 660 something.
Huh.
Which is actually
How would they do that?
really good.
I wonder why they do that. That's odd. But the levels keep going up, but the points don't.
Yeah, I think they do it to piss me off personally. That's what I think. I don't know.
I think you should do Famicom though, just to look. I can rethink my whole finger thing with the pressing up and the buttons and all that. But that's.
Is there an equivalent to level 30 in the Super Nintendo version?
Yeah,
like that speed
definitely.
and that difficulty.
They also have that same level.
Wow.
And it's easier on SNES though. It's playable.
Oh, really?
But just barely.
The speed's a little slower.
Yep. Well, the speed isn't even slower. It's the entry delay, which is slightly longer.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
that
just
head start
enough.
can mean life and death. Like, obviously, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. It's just barely enough to keep you alive.
Well, this has been awesome. I'm so glad to talk to you. I'm so glad this movie's coming out. We're gonna give away a copy, I think, to somebody on our Facebook page once they finally, announce the website or the pre-orders and everything. So
Right.
I'd probably try to get Robin on, the other guys on maybe at some point. But like I said, I want to get with you because you were really cool with us and you were really cool tonight. And unless you got any other cool Tetris stories to share with us before you go, I think we'll wrap it up here. Never know how to end these things. This is only our 10th episode. So.
Do you have any final stories?
I was just thinking about that. God, no. I don't. You know how you should end
the sound effect at the top.
Add sound effects.
Yeah.
You need to end this with the death sound in Tetris.
I was just about to say that.
That's a
What
game.
rocket
That
ship?
Game Boy death sound. You need to go.
Which rocket ship do we get for this show? Do we get the little bug dick rocket, or do we get the building taking off?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the Kremlin. It's taken off, man.
Oh, excellent! Awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, hey, where can our listeners find you on YouTube?
Oh, just I don't even know. God, what is it called?
Your name, probably, right?
It's Ben Mullen 295 or something. But if you Google Ben Mullen Tetris, you'll find my YouTube page.
We'll put a link to it in the show notes.
That's the spirit.
Hooray.
Thanks again for being with us, Ben.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Lots of fun.
Bye.
Bye.
And another big thank you to Ben Mullen for joining us. Again, you can pick up a copy of the DVD. Should be up by the end of the week at ecstasyofOrder.com. At least for now, you can definitely go there and check out the trailer. And within a month, you should be able to pick it up from a lot of stores like Best Buy, other places where you can buy DVDs.
Video on demand as well, although they haven't made the specifics about that just yet. It'll be all on the website. By the way, we're also going to have a contest. We're going to give away a copy of Ecstasy of Order. All you got to do is like our Facebook page. Now You're Playing with fan page. Look it up on Facebook. We're right there. Like us. A thread will come up in the next few weeks. If you like or comment in that thread, we'll have a drawing of people who comment on that thread, and some people get a free copy. So it doesn't cost nothing, as they say in Animal House. So come on in, join our Facebook page. You can maybe get a free DVD out of the deal.
And whether you get it for free, whether you pay for it, definitely watch it. It is a wonderful documentary.
And on that note, we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening.
Now you're playing with podcast.